Gracy here with us today. She is CHRO and Executive Director of Kinara Capital Private Limited. Thank you for taking time out to be with us.
Thank you so much for inviting us. It's been a great pleasure to being here with you and going ahead for the podcast.
Gracy is a board-level HR leader known for scaling enterprises, strengthening governance and driving people-first transformation in high-growth sectors. Her expertise in training and development, POSH compliance, ESG, compensation governance, digital HR and culture building offers a sharp lens on how Karnataka's organizations can scale with discipline, inclusion and performance altogether. To begin with, Gracy, how do you sustain culture and performance, especially when you're scaling an organization?
The culture is very important in any organization. See, when it is in the small scale or small size, the culture is organically it comes in, right? Performance also is organic. But as we scale, culture becomes more important, and it will become intentional and it should be measurable as well, right? But first level to pick up is that at the leadership level and the mid management, how do we enable them to follow this culture? And till the downline, they have to inculcate these cultures. Any new joinees coming in the company, or how do we sustain these things? As we scale, that's more important. So I started building this culture. When I joined the company, it was around 50 employees. Then we have grown to 2,500, and we saw that very important is, yes, the skills can be hired, but the attitude cannot be hired, right? So we started building those cultures. This is our core values, and this has to be, communicated in every meetings, in every QRTs, in every trainings. That would be our priority to first inculcate. This is our culture. This is what we expect from the employees. That became more prominent in everybody's, it's kind of a DNA, right? I mean, okay, this is what we start, and this the company should follow. So that is where I first started with. And then in every training when we started talking about, so that even the down level team also started, talking about our culture, our core values. We made it habitual. Wherever they see in their diary or anywhere, the core values is present, and also whatever we talk and we walk the story also. That's where they started believing the leadership level, and they started following up. And as per the studies, it says that 21% of the productivity improvement is only because of the culture and the employee engagement. So I believe in that, and always first priority is employees for us, and then we ensure that they follow the culture, and also we ensure that how the employee engagement is connected to build the culture.
And I think that's like a 50 times growth you're talking about, from 50 to 2000. So you must have massive experience. What does embedding governance, ethics and ESG into people's strategy look like, especially in practice, considering how your organization is really growing?
Yeah, it is very important. Governance is a part, or it should be indulged in anything what we do. As we scale up, it is very important. Right? When you talk about scaling or sustainability, ESG, ethics, all things comes as a package, right? Governance gives you the transparency between the team, right? The communication is ease. You follow a fair practice right from hiring to the exit. Right, employees get the fair, whether it is a female or a male, everybody gets a fair compensations. So ESG is applied in all levels and the governance, and also monitoring it. One, it is not only just you see the ESG only in the reporting or in kind of implementing and just leaving it, but how do you consistently maintain it and follow it, right? That's where the company also will sustain on a longer term. If not, without the ESG or a governance, what happens is, like I've seen the companies, they grow faster, and without all these aspects, right? I've seen the companies, stuck at certain stage because they are not going to go ahead without all these parameters which has not been followed. So it's very critical to be followed, and it is important in the growing or in the startup.
And I think talking about growing workspaces and workforces, we have to not, avoid POSH compliance and inclusivity. How do you think POSH compliance and inclusivity has evolved over the years, especially looking at an ever-changing landscape? I mean, when you were 50 strong, it would have been so much easier than it is now with 2000. So what do you think has evolved?
So in Kinara, what the main thing which we brought in was, how do we increase the percentage of women hiring? Okay, so when I took that decision, I also was very much aware of how do I keep the safety for the women at workplace. Our management level percentage was around 80% women. At the board and the management level, and at the field we had 50% women hiring. So the first instruction for my talent acquisition was first you look for the women profile so that we get women's more on board, and then parallelly I from the back end I start working on how do we give the safety for the women's. So I'm being the presiding officer on the post thing. We have tied up with Shasha also, to for the external legal thing. So the committee is, it is so confidential that we maintain. The employees are free to, raise their voice, and they have the confidence that if I take it to the POSH, definitely there is actions taken and they get some solution or some policy change, right? This is the critical or the challenges that we are facing. For that we got a solution, right? For example, ours is a non-banking financial company, and females are on field. And they were telling like for certain locations we are not able to go. For example, in Mumbai, they are not they are not comfort in going to the RV kind of locations, right? So we made a process and policy change for them, right? How do we support them while they go on the field, right? So it was and also we brought in the the LGBTQ also, and for them also we have created a separate POS so they also can freely escalate, if they have any problems. So we have solved a lot of,
I think it makes a big difference to be able to be seen and have a voice that is actually heard, especially when you have issues in an organization.
yes.
And I think certainly helps when you have 80% of women on your task force. Probably biased, but I think it does help to have an empathetic ear as well.
Yeah, we believe that, at a leadership level, we bringing a women, it will be more, kind of, productive is one way. It's not on nothing, offending on the men part, but, we believed in that. Okay, my CEO also, she's in women, and, we always thought that, women can give more contribute.
And I think that certainly works, especially when you're looking at, girls not wanting to move to Dharavi. I think that really helps because you know what that feels like as well, personally, right?
Yeah.
So none of us want to do it. And I think that, I think the whole evolving of how we look at teams, how we look at employees, how we look at, other people who work with us, colleagues, has really, really changed. And I think maybe as human beings, we're also evolving. So that's
Right,
just
absolutely. I mean, I completely agree on that. It's evolved in that extent that, earlier, the females is even they would used to think that, to come forward and talk about anything, but now it's the platform is huge for them to, go and escalate at any level. So
Definitely.
definitely it has evolved and it is keep evolving, and it's really happy to see that, every woman can be out there, freely and safely also.
Yeah.
That's more important.
Yeah, definitely. Moving away a little bit, how has digitizing HRMS and ERP really changed productivity, transparency, and decision making, especially?
This is my favorite subject. When as we scaled at 50x, level, the first initiatives for me, I always believe in taking the decision based on the data. So anything they come, they ask for a policy change, I first ask them, do you have a data? So for this, as we scale, it was very important making the team entirely digital. So I have the entire HRMS digitalized, right from hiring to exit, employee engagement, everything digitalized. So first, it helped me in increasing the hiring scale. So we used to hire kind of 100, 200, then it became thousands, for the hiring the team. So there, and we are very particular about the process. We don't take deviations and we don't take excuses for that. So we need process on time, systems on time. So for that, digitalization was very important to bring in, and it evolved the scale of hiring the volume. Volume, I had to maintain like thousands. So I had to do through multiple process of higher screening stages. So digitalization helped there, and we scaled up there like 20,000 screening we used to hire for the resumes. And then we have to hire for thousands or 20, though the ratio is like huge. But the selection criteria what we had was very strong, right? So we used to get properly screened and the right candidate, so that belonging to our culture and whatever the requirement we have, you able to fulfill those things. Similarly, we implemented in the performance management, creating KRA KPIs for the different levels. There we had a huge help in introducing the.
And I think it certainly helps, especially when you're looking at this number of, like you just mentioned 20,000, just like that. I'm thinking if we had to actually physically go through that, that would have been.
It's a massive number, and it is time consuming thing. Like when you go when you think volume, until you don't have a digital system in place, it is very difficult. You cannot just put people against that, right? I mean even people get more redundant after some time, right? Then what you do, right? After screening, what is the other thing that you can't get the gig people also for that? But the time is more important, right? For that we need the digital in place. So it helped us a lot. So as I said, like performance management, even the employee engagement, right? To keep the so we operate in 6 states, different languages, different cultures, different thought process, mindset they come in, and we have to design the program according to that. So the employee engagement software helped us in designing all these things. Okay. So it helped us in designing, and ensuring that each one is taken care of in their own way, so that they are happy and my productive is improved. It's never fallen, and my ratings also is always like 4.2, 4.3 on the websites.
Right. Okay, to conclude very quickly, we're looking at Karnataka's massive growth ecosystem, right? What do you think enables Karnataka to build a more compliant, inclusive, high-performance organization? Especially, when we're looking at the scale you're talking about, and we're not talking about smaller, what do you think makes Karnataka the place for organization?
See, Karnataka is already way ahead in terms of technology, right? Or in any industry, especially Bangalore. It is a hub for, IT sectors, it is a hub for, BFSI, manufacturing, so all it has been there. But again, if we have to, see that scaling up at a global level, right? One is I was seeing the data about, the women, which is we have 31 to 32% in the Karnataka, right? It has to go to at least 38 to 50%, which is globally that we are seeing 50% of women is on the board. And once the women comes in, how the sustainability, how the longer term, how the leadership, builds from the women this one. Because when I was hiring a, CTO, I was finding difficult to find a women. I was particularly looking at women, to come on board as a CTO. So that generation has to come, leaders at a women. So that has to get, improved. And the startups, a lot of startups is coming up, like how the government can, support them. And how the other third point is about how do we collaborate the organization, how do we collaborate the academics and the requirement, right? All three, that is more important. Collaborating them because they are the future generation. So how the college we ensure that this is what the practical requirement in the companies, right? Because the new hiring, what we see is they're no clue about what is actually going to happen, because book is different and practical is different. So how do we bring all this together and ensure that the college pass out students, they come up and they get all the facilities to learn, they upskill themselves before they step into the organization world.
I think what's lovely is, I think in the conversations with a lot of CHROs today, I found this important word that's this collaboration, and that is so key. Collaboration, upskilling, and having a voice that's heard. I think there's 3 massive, huge takeaways that we're able to take in a lot of our conversations.
Yeah, that is quite very prominently required now. With collaboration, we can do lot many things, and globally we can stand out to them.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time. It's been lovely having you.
Thank you so much.
See you. Thank you.